This is an RCA Secure View, a transparent TV made for inside prison. And today, as a midweek mini project, we're going to try and hack it. And use it in ways that it was clearly never intended. This is going to be fun, so stay tuned. And if you enjoy old tech and bad puns, I hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel. So this transparent TV is actually pretty interesting. It was made for use inside prison. Transparent, so contraband couldn't be hidden inside. In fact, you can still see the original owner's inmate number etched in the top here. And inside we have most of the components of a very late model consumer RCA CRT TV. Only most of the inputs on the back aren't populated, and in fact, where they would be is covered over by a sticker. All that's left is a single coaxial input. There's also a built-in digital TV tuner, which is pretty cool, and conveniently it's connected internally by component video, which we should be able to usurp to add our own external connection. And that will allow us to use this cool, clear display for all manner of shenanigans, like old video games or even as a monitor. But before we get into all that, let's test this thing out and make sure it works. Right after this quick word about today's sponsor, PCBWay. Not only does PCBWay offer high-quality PCB prototyping and production, but they also offer things like assembly, 3D printing, injection molding, and tons of fabrication services. There's options for turnkey service, where PCBWay will supply the parts, and there's even a great online Gerber view and 3D object viewer available, so you can make sure you're ordering exactly what you expect. By the way, did you know that it's PCBWay's 10th anniversary? That's 10 solid years of PCBs. Check out the PCBWay 10th anniversary tour on their website. It's really quite cool. Seriously, the retro computing hobby would be so much harder without PCBWay. So as always, if you have any PCB or prototyping needs, this is the perfect time to give PCBWay.com a try. Alright, so to test this thing out, we are going to need an antenna for DTV. Of course, that's the only kind of over-the-air signal we can get. Luckily, I keep just such a thing handy. Alright, let's power this thing on and see if it picks up any DTV channels. Auto channel search. Start. Oh yeah, it's finding channels. Alright, let's try and take this thing apart with the usual caveat of CRTs are dangerous, high voltages, don't try this at home. Aha. Alright, it seems like this board just kind of snaps in place here. And yeah, we can slide it out. Really what I want to do is get access to this, because this is the digital TV tuner, and I saw online someone desoldering this, and there are connections on this side, and they're labeled for component video. There are also unpopulated pads here for video in, but there's also a whole lot of missing components, and yeah, I don't know what these capacitors were supposed to be, so I think it would be a lot easier to just hijack the connection for the digital TV board. Alright, so now I'm just going to desolder this digital TV tuner, which is basically like an add-on card, and some of these pins here are going to be the component input that we can just usurp. Yeah, if we take a look at our newly desoldered board here, there's markings here showing where we need to actually tap into on the board, the main board. So I'm going to harvest some connectors from this sacrificial Memorex DVD player, because this has the appropriately colored connectors here. Sorry, little fella, I'm sure you were great. So what I'd like to do here is mount this where normally on the consumer version these would actually come out, although I think this would just be audio and composite video, but I could probably super glue this here because right here on the sticker where just antenna out exists, it does have the holes on the inside, so we could just pop that sticker off. Oh yeah, I think that's going to work great. Now, using the printing on this board as a guide, I'm going to just run wire through. All right, well, theoretically at least, this should work. Let's pop this back in the chassis and try it out. All right, well, I guess let's try hooking it up to a PS2 Slim and see if we get video. All right, first power on. No signal. Would help if I plugged in the PlayStation. Ooh. Oh my God, look, there it is! It worked! Holy crap. The colors are a little off. Hey look, Need for Speed Underground is in there. Oh man, I'm so excited that this at least works. Alright, well apparently something's just not making a great connection back here. Oh, check it out. One dodgy solder connection in the back. I have resoldered it, and we have correct color. We did it. We have freaking component input on this clear RCA TV, and it looks good. This screen is quite nice, crisp, and sharp. I think this will make a pretty freaking good vintage computer monitor. Let me chuck the case back on here and show you what I'm planning. That is frickin' glorious. Look at this. The transparent stealth Apple IIgs. Oh man, I have dreamt about putting this exact setup together for years. The transparent Apple IIgs Stealth with Apple Squeezer accelerator and transparent CRT. Now the only thing I still have to figure out is how to get the onboard video from the 2GS to display on this screen, but I've actually already figured that out. I'm just waiting for it to get here. So make sure you stick around because this thing, my goodness, it's glorious. In any event, that'll do it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more stuff like this, please subscribe down below. And thank you very much for watching. And a special thanks to Alex Hoffman, Alex the Rat, Andrew Nicholson, April White, Chris Biggs, Chris Calderon, Chris Nelson, Control-Alt-Reese, Darren Johnstone, Dave's Garage, Drew Hamlin, Eduardo Fonseca, 3 Hours 9, Frodo Jedi, Gaspar Heller, George Rzansky, Graham, Greg from Rutk Mods, Harris Brody, JS, James Fryman, James Laurie, Jason Pepas, Camille Rakowski, Lyle Truid, Matthew Crowell, Nick Daniels, Oh It's Just Jose, Paul Spencer, Ryan, Scott Cedarbaum, Scott Thompson, Steve Salavan, Tom Woodfin, Unknown Soldier 41, Veronica Explains, and Xantronics Industrial, who are my highest tiered patrons and all of my Patreon supporters for helping to make these videos possible.